Hey everyone, back at it again with another formative. I'm actually really excited for this one because there's no PowerPoint, but still really important because I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks for Google Sheets, especially when it comes to graphing. Again, I'm going to hold you accountable for watching this, and let's go ahead and get started. One of the really cool things about Google Sheets is that you can use it for data entry. And you can actually put in equations that would help calculate certain things. So in the lab that you did the water balloon, you had a mass of the water balloon and you solved for a velocity of the water balloon by dividing distance by time, which were pretty easy because you actually did that in the lab. But let's just use my values and say that the mass was 13 for trial 2, 18 for trial 3, 12 for trial 4, and 7 for trial 5. And then the velocities I had were 55 meters per second, 49 meters per second, 12 meters per second, 20 meters per second, and 66. And if these don't look anything like yours from last time, don't worry, I just made them up. So we need to go from mass in grams to mass in kilograms. And it's really easy to do this. You just hit the equal sign, click this box with the first value for grams, and multiply it by 1,000 because we're going from grams to kilograms. And then you can just drag this little corner, pull it down, and it'll do that for each value. We'll just multiply it by 1,000. Okay. And again, if you look here, this is now B3 times 1,000. The next one should be B4 times 1,000, and so on. Sound good? Now, in order to solve for momentum, we need mass in kilograms multiplied by the velocity. So the equation looks like this. Momentum equals mass times velocity. Okay, but the mass has to be in kilograms. So here we can say mass, use the asterisk times velocity, and it'll give us momentum. And all we have to do is drag down, and it'll give us each momentum value for all 5 trials. And this is going to help us with data entry, especially when we don't want to be solving these equations every single time. Again, this is not very difficult math, but again, if we're doing 20 trials or we're doing 100 trials, it might be easier to put all the values in Excel or Google Sheets. Now I want to show you something really cool. You can actually make charts in Excel too, so we don't have to keep drawing them out. The first thing you want to do is have your data ready. So I took a survey of the Mayfield faculty's favorite ice cream. You can see obviously chocolate won. But what we want to do is we want to click a cell far, kind of near, but far from where the data is, because the chart's going to take over. Go to Insert Chart. And then here we want to make some kind of chart that can give us kind of a visual aspect of this. So I'm going to go ahead and make a pie chart for this one. So once you have this, it's going to say no data. We need to put some data in there. So go ahead and click it. And this chart editor will come up. And first we want to do the setup, and we want to change the chart type to pie. And of course you could do the ringed pie or the 3D pie, but I'm just going to use the standard. And then really important, we want to go to data range. So hit data range. And when we're here, we just want to select all of the data that we have and then hit OK. And it'll make the chart for us. You can see here, chocolate is 30%, cookie dough is 28, and it gave us colors and everything too. And using this customize tab, really important. You want to put a chart title for everything. I spelled that wrong. Oh, spelled it wrong again. And then here you can actually center it or put it to the right or the left. But this is how you make a pie chart, pretty easy. You can change the color of each slice if you'd like, depending on, you know, what kind of chart you're looking for and things like that, if you want to match it with the color of the ice cream. But really, really fun. Next, we want to learn how to make a column or a bar graph. So same thing, you're going to go farther away from the cell than normal. Go to insert chart, okay? And then once you're here, you can move it so that you can still see the data as well. Once you're here, you want to hit setup, and you want to choose either column or bar chart, depending on how you want to visualize. Bars go sideways or horizontally, and columns go vertically. I'm going to go ahead and choose the vertical one because that's just what I like. And then when you're here in data range, oh, very important, stacking has to go to none, okay? Once you're here, you can select data range, go ahead and delete F4 and highlight all of your data. And it'll literally make the chart for you. And again, it will determine its X and Y axes based on what the independent and dependent variable is. And if you go to customize, you can then add a chart title, MSS, faculty, birthdays. It'll add the title for you. And then super important, you can add axes titles as well, okay? Number of faculty members. And there you go, you've created a beautiful chart, it's labeled. And then you can go ahead and use this and import this into your lab reports and label them correctly as well. And then finally, my favorite reason to use Google Sheets or Excel is to make line graphs. So this is a distance versus time. This is just a set of data. Should be linear because I created it in a linear way, meaning that each of them follows a specific pattern. And again, we want to do the same thing. Select a cell, insert a chart. Going to show up with no data. We want to move it so we can still see our data set. We want to go to chart type, go to line, and then select the data range just like that. Oh, and I accidentally deleted all of it. Go ahead and select the range. Press OK. It's going to give you 2 lines. You want to go back to line chart. I don't know why it's doing this, but go ahead and remove all series. I see what I did. And once you import this data, it'll give you a specific time versus distance chart because you have these labeled correctly, okay? And of course, it labels everything for you. It gives you numbers. If you go to customize and you go to series, it'll actually allow you, to put a trend line with an R² value and an equation so that you can get the slope and the y-intercept as well. Just really, really cool features on here. And of course you can format it however you want. You can change the color that way. But again, this is a super important skill that I'm gonna expect that you guys know or that you want to use. You're always more than welcome to draw out your graphs and show all your works by hand. But this is something cool to get us through, you know, when we're gonna use this, and we're gonna try to build as many graphs as we can because those are visual representations of data. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Sorry for the lag on the last one. Usually it pops up right away. This is why I like Google Sheets, because it's constantly surfing for the right thing to put in your graphs. So, okay, take care. Have a great weekend or I hope you had a great weekend. Okay, see ya.